She ate her husband. Bro, she ate her husband. Let's go ahead and watch this, man.
Few days after Thanksgiving, the police found an abandoned car in which they found parts of a person's body. The police immediately went to notify the victim's wife, and in a search of the house, they found the man's head wrapped in newspaper and frozen along with other parts of his body. Omaima Mary Nelson was born in 1968 in Egypt and later immigrated to Orange County, California. She was a very good-looking woman who used her looks to get what she wanted. She had a history of targeting wealthy men. According to the stories Omaima told of her childhood, she was subjected to multiple episodes of sexual abuse and even suffered mutilation of her genitals, taking away the possibility of feeling pleasure since she no longer had a clitoris. Before moving forward in the video, if you...
Whoa. I've heard about that before. I've heard about that a lot in the female mutilations in Africa. I worked over there. I never asked about it, but I was working in Chad. I don't know if that was part of it, but I never asked about it just because, I didn't want to stir the pot over there while I was there, you know what I mean? But I've heard about those.
You guys like watching true crime documentaries, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It will motivate me to upload new true crime cases every day. Now back to the video. When she was 18, she decided to make a radical change in her life. She moved to the United States where she began working as a nanny and a part-time model, which was really the career she longed for. Little by little, she was gaining ground in the world of catwalks until at the age of 23 when she met the 56-year-old pilot Bill Nelson. After a brief courtship of about a month, in October 1991 they married and went to live at Bill's home in Costa Mesa, California. But shortly after getting married, according to Omaima, the relationship changed a lot. Bill at the beginning was an attentive, gentlemanly man and very good to her, but as the week went by, he became very abusive. According to Omaima, he abused her physically, sexually, and psychologically, something she could not stand. That was why on Thanksgiving Day 1991 the woman decided to take the life of her husband. Omaima, after a fight she had with Bill, took some scissors and began to attack him, stabbing him in the chest, stomach, and in different parts of his body. After that, she took an iron and started hitting Bill on the head until the appliance completely broke.
Nah, that was just build-up aggression, bro. That was build-up. I mean, I'm not saying what he did was wrong, was right, but obviously it wasn't. But that was built up. Yeah, she just let it out right there on him because he was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
The woman wanted to cover up her crime at all costs, so she began to think of a plan to dispose of her body without anyone noticing her. Omaima had the help of two ex-boyfriends whom she called to help her dispose of the body, but before calling these two ex-boyfriends she had already cut Bill's body into pieces. She had kept some parts in the freezer and tried to crush others. She had also removed the head and kept it in the refrigerator so that she could remove the teeth.
Yo, there's a kielbasa right here on the side. I know, I eat the kielbasa, pause. Right here on the side, there's a kielbasa sausage. Oh, man. Oh, then... And Zaki Farms ground chicken. Oh, Lord.
So that he could not be identified through dental records. In addition to this, it is known that she cut off his genitals as a type of personal revenge against him. Once his body was cut up and several parts were destroyed, Omaima put the remaining parts in a bag with some food waste, some meat, and garbage that she had taken out of the kitchen. Then, she asked these two ex-boyfriends to take these bags into one of Bill's cars and abandon him in an area away from the house. They did this, but the plan was discovered a few days later when the police found Bill's abandoned car. In view of the discovery, the police immediately went to notify the victim's wife and in a search of the house. They found the man's head wrapped in newspaper and frozen along with other parts of his body. Some neighbors also testified to the police that the day Omaima took the life of her husband, they heard the food grinder working for a long time. But no one knew that what the woman was grinding there was her husband's body. The police immediately proceeded to arrest her for committing first-degree murder. Omaima immediately supported the version of having done everything in legitimate defense. She declared that her husband exchanged her body with other men. She also reported that he was a fan of sadomasochism and that he had frequently tied her up and sexually abused her. Omaima also stated that on the morning of Thanksgivings, she feared her husband would kill her. In contrast, the prosecutor in the case alleged that the accused was a great manipulator who swindled and took advantage of men by playing sexual games with them in which she neutralized them by tying them up, and then robbing them. The trial began almost exactly a year after her arrest, on December 1, 1992, where everything that the woman had suffered as a child was revealed. Her suffering at the hands of the deceased Bill and also within the arguments of the accusing party. They showed how in an interview conducted by the psychiatrist in the case, Omaima described that she had cooked her victim's ribs barbecue style and even said that the meat was very sweet. The professional pointed out that this confession had been made in a state of total psychosis because the story made it as something completely normal. This caused a tremendous stupor among the attendees who were already quite shocked because the room was completely wallpapered with photos of Bill's human remains. The Omaima trial became a media sensation. Everyone wanted to know the latest news. They wanted to find out what had happened in court, who had given their statement and what new details had emerged day by day. The entire country was hooked on this case, not only because of the circumstances in which the crime had occurred, but also because at that time a Hannibal Lecter film was being released in movie theaters, so many people compared the fictional character with Omaima. Due to the fact that she had declared before the mental health professional that she had eaten her husband's ribs. In addition to this, the age difference between the perpetrator and the victim was somewhat, which gave a lot to attract attention. The jury itself was not so clear. They had a lot of pressure from the media, from people who wanted to obtain a guilty verdict and the maximum sentence. But for this, they lacked a lot of evidence that would link Omaima directly to the crime. The defense was also thinking about this. They said that there was nothing, no DNA, no witnesses, not even Omaima's fingerprints on the murder weapon that could say that she had taken Bill's life.
Wow.
Furthermore, because of this, the prosecution had not brought Omaima's two alleged ex-boyfriends who had helped her get rid of Bill's body to testify, nor had they accused anyone of anything. So many things were left up in the air, which is why the jury was slow. But in the end, on January 12, 1993, they returned with the result. They declared Omaima guilty of murder in the second degree, and the woman was sentenced to a minimum of 27 years and a maximum of life in prison.
Second degree.
She was immediately taken to Chalkzilla Prison in California, after reviewing her case. Omaima became eligible for parole in 2006, but was denied parole, as the committee assigned to her case evaluated after the analysis that she was still a danger to society. Later in 2011 she was selected again, but in view of her refusal to take responsibility for the death of her husband, they decided to keep her in prison. Noting that the inmate was not productive for society, from now on she will be able to request release again when she is turning 33 years locked up. That means in the year 2026 and when she is 58 years old.
That's next year.
Omaima always maintained a version of the events. She claimed that on the morning of the crime, Bill tried to strangle her and she only defended herself like any person would. But the prosecutor in the case exposed her as a cold-blooded murderer who mutilated the body of a man who was not there to tell his version of what happened that fateful day.
See, I heard this story completely different. I didn't know, or I didn't hear the part where he had assaulted her or whatever. I didn't hear that part. I heard the part where she was robbing men, and then I heard it summarized in a different way. That's why you gotta be careful when you listen to these stories. The truth, I mean, the only thing that all of them have in common was that she ate him. She did eat him. She did eat his ribs. And in the other story I heard, she went and asked his friend to help her get rid of the body, which is why that's how she got caught. Because his friend was like she didn't say, "Yo, help me get rid of the body." She told his friend, "Yo, I got something in the car I gotta get rid of. Um, I need help with blah 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 whatever." And she had one of his cars or whatever, and he was like, he just found everything strange, so he called police. That's how she got caught. That's how I heard it. So I don't know, but the fact of the matter is, this woman ate her husband. Now I don't know. I don't know. I didn't look into this case or nothing like that. On my TikTok, I talk about mysterious things and true crime. I didn't look into this. I might look into it and do a short little TikTok on it, with my take or with whatever evidence I find. But I didn't look into it, so I don't know exactly what it is that's going on as far as her him doing whatever to her. But So I can't say that. All I know is she ate him. I don't understand why. And look, I'm 44. I'm about to be 45. I don't understand why dudes be trying to get these 19-year-old girls. I could never. And yeah, I'm gonna say I would never. Even when I was younger, I didn't like young girls. Even when I was a teenager, like if it was up to me, I'd be dating an older woman. But that's just everybody I guess has a preference. But yo, older dudes, man, especially when they got money, you gotta be smarter. You got money. And you gonna get a young girl who all she wants is money. I mean, anybody could want the money, but not if listen, I become rich. I'm married, so I ain't got to worry about it. And my wife's been with me since I was broke. So you know what I mean. But if I was single, right, and I was an older man, let's say I was in my 50s, let's say I was like 55, 60, and I got money, right? I'm looking for a woman who has money just like me, equal or more. Doesn't have to be more, but at least equal. Or at least she takes care of herself. A woman who's well off, takes care of herself. And I got kids, she gotta have kids too. I don't care if they're grown, but I'm not getting no young girl, bro. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's all I got. That's crazy, man. Guys, if you got anything you want me to watch, go ahead and send it to me. Leave it in the comments below. And as always, like and subscribe, follow me on social media, and I'll see you guys on the next smoke.